We've come to a moment that, quite frankly, we've seen coming over the past years. And we've talked about it in the news, not just about Ukraine, but about democracies around the world.
He's saying about a lot, isn't he? It's really appealing to that Canadian stereotype right there.
We've talked about it in not just about Ukraine, but about democracies around the world.
What I feel is that Justin Trudeau lost his authority to comment on issues like this when he treated the truckers in the manner that he did, when they introduced emergency powers and then did not revoke them, that gave them the ability to freeze people's bank accounts. That is an assault on democracy. There's no question that Russia's actions in Ukraine are deplorable. But what right do you have to offer that critique when you are no real friend of democracy when it don't suit you?
We see a bit of a slippage. A bit of a slippage in our democracies.
You want to watch your own slippages, mate?
Countries turning towards slightly more authoritarian leaders.
Yeah, I feel like I saw a bit of authoritarianism in Canada when truckers had pepper spray used against them, when bank accounts were frozen, when GoFundMe sites were shut down. That's different. When other people do authoritarianism, they do it with a funny accent, and it's about time we stopped it.
Countries allowing increasing misinformation and disinformation to be shared on social media.
What about at the beginning of the trucker protest when he outright said they're racists, they're misogynists? Is that not misinformation?
Turning people against the values and the principles of democracies that are so strong.
Oh, unless it's inconvenient, then they're meaningless. Because if the values and principles of a democracy are strong, what that means is when it don't suit you, those values and principles are still there. Oh no, people are protesting, they don't agree with us, they don't agree with mandates, but because we've got these values and principles, we're going to just have to allow them to do that. Not just change our values and principles and shut this down and just call them things that would facilitate shutting them down. If they're racist and misogynist, we can shut them down because we all know that racism and misogyny are wrong.
And that slippage.
Slippage isn't such a good word. You want to use it multiple times. If you invent a word and that word sounds a bit dirty and it's something that might happen by mistake in intercourse, don't use it again and again when you're trying to present yourself on the international stage as a diplomat. The problem here about this, you could be heading for the cleft of democracy, but a slippage could end you up a pipe of disaster.
Over the years, unfortunately emboldened Putin and made him think that he could get away with this, that he could get away with it in Ukraine.
And let's not mention that there's no discussion of the complex set of interests that were at play in Ukraine in the build-up, most notably that came to a head in 2014. We've done a video on that, have a look.